Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to the worst reviews ever. Today I got KC Fred in the building. Amazing.
Hey everyone.
And we got the Manic Genius has popped up. What's
Can
going
y'all hear me?
on, everybody? How's everybody doing?
We hear you.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
It's always this guy messing up. Youngest person with technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Would you grow up in a cave or something?
Man, I'm just trying to get it right.
But all right, can you see your screen or you want me to go ahead and read it today?
Oh no, I'm good. I'm good now.
Okay, all right. I like the backdrop though, man. It's looking straight in there. I like how you have arranged the pillows on the couch. They're all perpendicular, you know. Did you get out on purpose? Or are they just naturally like that?
They just naturally like that, man.
Stop lying. You did that on purpose. Did y'all believe him? Y'all think he arranged that for this?
I think he brought somebody in.
Yeah. Little interior decorator. Okay. We see you though. You're doing your thing. But all right, I'll go ahead and pull this up. All right. All right, Manic, if you go ahead and read.
Yeah. Synchronic is a 2019 American science fiction horror film written by Justin Benson, who also directed and produced with Aaron Moorhead. Synchronic stars Anthony Mackie and Jamie Dornan as paramedics who investigate a series of inexplicable deaths and their connection to a new designer drug.
All right, I'll go ahead and jump into the directors and producers section. Thank you. So directed by Justin Benson, Aaron Moorhead. This was written again by Justin Benson. So for the produced section, we have Justin Benson, Aaron Moorhead, David Lawson Jr., Michael Mendelsohn. So yeah, Justin and Aaron pretty much did everything in this movie. So let me go ahead and jump to the cast section. So for the cast, one of the main people in the movie, Anthony Mackie as Steve. We had Jamie Doran as Dennis. Allie, or is it Allie? You know how some people be, I'll say Allie. Lonitz as Brianna. We had Katie as Tara Danley. That was the daughter, right?
Right.
We got Bill Albers Jr. as the looter. Natasha Tina Liu as Christina. Martin Batts Bradford as Bob. Adam J. Ying as Kyle T. Wentworth. Devin A. Tyler as Danica. And Betsy Holt as Lee. And Shane Brady as Travis. And I done butchered some of them names today, but all right. So now we're going to jump into the rating segment. So, all right, we're going to go to Amazing first on this one. Go ahead. Give us your rating.
8.5.
Damn, 8.5. So you got it in an excellent territory.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Manic Genius. What was your rating on this?
I'm gonna go with 9.8.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So you got it in a classic, man. You got this up there with Titanic and all that. You definitely an outlier. you might as well get ready. So yeah, so Amazing has it at 8.5, excellent. Manic has this as, what'd you say, 9.8?
Yeah, 9.8.
Which is in the classic territory. All right, so Casey Fred.
I got it at like a 7.5.
So Casey Fred has it as 7.5, and that's in a very good territory. And I have it on as an 8, in between excellent and very good. So our two outliers is Manic and Casey Fred. So Manic, since you got this in like classic territory up there with like Titanics and all those movies, you got to break that down for us. Why you have this as a classic?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, just switch mics. Let's see. I'm stop fucking around with these settings. So I have it as a I have it in classic territory because the this movie hit on so much. It hit on the dynamic of like a really strong friendship, a bond. It touched on dynamics of relationship with the marriage, of the I forget the guy's name, but what's his name? The Caucasian paramedic.
His name was Dennis, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Dennis.
Dennis. Yeah. So yeah, Dennis. So it showed the dynamic between a relationship between a marriage, and I think they did an excellent job of showing the reality. Because a lot of times in movies, they tend to showcase either like a happy marriage or a sad. There's never really that range in between, unless it's like a whole movie dedicated to, showcasing the relationship. So I like how they showed the good moments of his marriage, and then also they highlighted the bad things, but they weren't really bad things. They were just more or less like the reality of when you're dealing with somebody for a very long time. So they showed that aspect, and they also showed the element of the relationship that Anthony Mackie's character, what's his name?
It was Steve.
Steve, yeah. So they showed Steve's relationship, the dynamic in his relationship, and how he looks at Dennis's and it's like, hey man, you got something special, beautiful. I wish I had something like that. And Dennis is looking over at Steve like, hey man, you're getting a chance to do whatever you want. Like that's the life to live. And it's just like, kind of like, and that's like a real thing. So I love how they showcase the dynamic between relationships, but the movie wasn't about a relationship. The movie was about, this futuristic drug. And I think the plot, the storyline was like right on point, and all the way throughout the movie, it was exciting. It starts off a little confusing, but it draws you in. And then the highs and lows of the movie, it always kept my attention. I didn't realize there was no points where it was just like dead points. And then even the beginning was strong, and even the ending was very strong too. And it made you like really think. And obviously it's science fiction, so there's like, you have to go with that. But yeah, that's why I had it in such. This movie really hit everything, like the camera angles, the shot, the soundtracks, the sound effects, the special effects, the reality that the past sucks. So I just really didn't see any. I really didn't see any issues with this movie. So yeah, overall solid movie. The acting was phenomenal. So, but they didn't like overdo it. So,
Great breakdown. All right, Casey, Fred, man, the other outlier. Why did you give it a 7? I mean, you still had a good rating, but why did you rate it what you did?
Well, it was funny too, because at the beginning of the movie, I'm not gonna lie, I thought I almost got tricked by you guys again, because just the way they had it started off, I was like, did they just give me another horror film or something? And,
The funny thing, I actually told Amazing.
And you got 2 dead bodies, and then one popped up. I said, is this a zombie or something? So, but that wasn't even the case. You find out that, it was the drugs and everything. And like I said, as the movie progressed, I have to kind of agree with Manic that it started getting better. I wanted to give it higher, but I kind of like happy endings. And I just, for some strange reason, when my boy Steve died, I was like, man, another black brother had to die. Come on, man. So, but that felt like I was like, but he did what he was supposed to do. And when you really watch the movie and realize the ultimate sacrifice that he gave for the love of not himself, but for someone else, I just thought that was really deep. And I thought that was really awesome, because a lot of people I know throw caution to the wind and just, well, hey, I'm saving my life, forget about you type of thing. But that's not what he did. And he sacrificed because that's his best friend, and that was his daughter. And he wanted to make sure that, she got back to her family. And I just thought that was really, really cool. And so that's one of the reasons why I bumped it up to a 7.5. So I thought, like Manic was saying, you do see the different relationships, like him and his dog, also him, best friend, Also, you see the relationship between Dennis and his wife, and Dennis and his daughter, and it's just like, and for Steve, he had to come to grips with what he was going through as far as finding out that he had a tumor and everything, and that he was not going to live forever to be able to have the same things that his best friend had. And so you got a chance to be able to kind of get on that journey and just walk with him throughout. And I was just, like I said, I was really rooting for Steve, and it's just, I wish he would have had a, which we'll talk about later. That'd probably be one of the things I wish I could change. But that's why I gave it a 7.5.
Okay. Now the funny thing is, I was actually right before we signed on. I was talking to Maze, and I'm like, I wonder if Fred's gonna rate this as like a horror movie. I was like, I wonder if Fred, I'm interested in this rating because he might think this is a horror movie. So now it's funny you said that. But all right, amazing. You go ahead and give us a breakdown on your rating.
I agree. Really, Manic kind of summed it up as far as the relationship aspect, and how I think it showed as far as like the relationship, how I think people are always looking at the other person, thinking the grass is greener, but they both have their own stuff going on that is not greener. So I liked that aspect, but I really also liked how it brought like the relationship on how Steve was really connected to the whole family. So yes, Dennis was his best friend, but you could see the relationship really between the oldest girl and him as well. So I like that a lot. And then I liked the piece just where it really showed, I think, people where I hear a lot, where you'll say like military people connect because of just different things they see. And a lot of people will say that's the same with first responders, just because they see traumatic events and they have just a different kind of bond. So I like the way they did that relationship as well. And they seen, these kids overdosing and dying and what have you. So I like the whole movie. I thought it touched on so many different aspects of real life. And like Manic said, that was believable. So it wasn't just all the happy stuff or all the sad stuff. It was kind of a mix of everything and really each aspect of life.
Okay. Well, unlike you guys, I didn't really give a shit about the relationship piece of it. I thought the whole time travel, and plus, I liked how they capture like the drug addiction element of everything. So I think that was the biggest piece. And I thought it was clever how they use like the time travel where, typically there's like some stupid device, but it was just like, I like how they related the drug to, like you go through time and stuff. So I thought that was pretty clever, but nah, just joking. I did like the dynamics of the different relationships of that. So I like how they capture that, I like what Amazing was saying, because I didn't even think about the paramedics, being in the military. I know that is true. People do bond through, I'll say like not trauma, but like different events and stuff like that. But yeah, that it would make sense because they were just seeing all kind of crazy stuff. But they also bonded because like I think they missed goals in life. They had the because I remember the one part of the movie where they were talking about like, and we'll probably get in deeper in that, where they were talking about like they wanted to be like doctors and stuff. So they kind of landed in paramedics because typically life happens. So I do like how they made this movie just so realistic, where it's just life is just so busy and complicated that you might not reach those heights, and then you go through it and people start having regrets and stuff. So I like how they capture that. So all right, we'll go ahead and jump into the open discussion questions. Oh, my bad. All right, so we'll start with Amazing on this. Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
Yeah, I would recommend it. I really, again, and I think it shows even with the ratings between all of us, where sometimes we're way off on different movies, where this movie seems really to have a little bit for everybody, and we all rated it high. So I think it goes to show that I think it really expands to a large audience. So I would.
That's a good point. What about you, Manic Genius? Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
That's going to be absolutely for me.
Yeah, you had it in 9.8.
9.8.
Yeah, you definitely. What about you, Casey Fred? Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
Oh yeah, I definitely thought it was good. Definitely thought it was good.
All right. And I would definitely recommend this. Like you guys all said, I mean, we all rated it high, so that's kind of was a no-brainer. But we still got to go through the process. So okay, we'll jump to the next one. Would you ever watch this movie again? I'll start with me at the bottom, and we'll work ourselves up. Yeah, I definitely would watch this again. So this is definitely a great movie for everything we discussed. So definitely on my list to watch again because there's a couple pieces I would have kind of analyzed, but I didn't have enough time this week to watch it again. So probably watch it this weekend. All right, Casey, Fred, would you watch this movie again?
I probably would watch it again if somebody else said, "Hey, they want to watch it." You know, so yeah.
All right. Manic Genius, would you watch this movie again? Mr. Classic.
Yeah, I'd watch it again.
Hey man, that camera's kind of clear up there. I like that the pixelation, is that how they say it? Because I just made that up in my mind.
Nah, this
the
is
technical
actually
term?
this is actually my my old webcam, so
Oh, it looks clear though. I thought you used a new one.
nah, not yet.
Oh, okay. All right, amazing. Would you watch this movie again?
Didn't I already answered that one?
No, we did recommend.
Oh, sorry.
Please pay attention.
Sorry.
I don't want to have to be a jerk, but
Sorry.
can you please pay it? No, I'm joking.
Yes, I would watch it again.
I appreciate you answering that. All right. What did you think about the plot or the storyline? We'll go ahead and jump in that one, and I'll go to Casey Fred first on that one.
I really, like I said, I thought it was good. I mean, I feel like I thought you guys had tricked me at first. I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning, when the paramedics first show up and they're going into this house, and I'm like thinking to myself, okay, they got the little creepy music and everything, and I'm like, oh boy, here we go. I'm gonna have to have a nice long discussion with you guys, and then next thing you know, two dead bodies. I was like, oh boy, here we about to get some zombies in here, and then it just starts picking up. And of course, I love how they kept flashing that drug, and you was like, okay, so now we know that it's about the drug, but you really don't catch on as far as that this drug actually makes you go to a different time. And like you never really realize that until all of a sudden you realize that the daughter is missing. At least I didn't catch on at first, you know what I mean? But once the daughter is missing, now you're like, okay, there's more to it than people just dying and stuff. And then that's when all of a sudden it takes you on a journey. You start trying to put all the pieces together. And then I think the chemist that was chasing him, I think that really helped out too, to kind of pencil everything together. And then Steve, he literally starts logging and doing a documentary as far as putting things together to kind of help the audience realize what this drug really does, and what he needs to do to be able to find Dennis' daughter, Tara. So it was really good. I liked how it went, and then like you guys all said, the way the storyline goes, you get a chance to be able to really get into how everyone feels about one another and the value that they bring. And so that really helped the storyline for you to stay engaged and really be involved. And you find yourself just rooting for everybody, but really just for Steve when you find out that he has a tumor in his brain that's just, they didn't know when he was going to be gone, and yet he decides to take this journey to be able to find his best friend's daughter. I just thought that was really cool because a lot of people just would not do that. They would be out there in Vegas or something trying to live their best life because, hey, only got 30 days or 6 weeks or something like that. But to actually do that, I thought that was really cool.
No, you spot on about that. I'm definitely living my best life. I'm not worried about anybody. So I'll be on some self-centered stuff. So you spot on. I'd be like, hey, let me get that pill. Like, hang in there, you're young. Hey, don't talk to anybody. Yeah, I would have dipped. But all right, Manic Genius, what did you think about the plot or the storyline?
I thought the plot and I thought the plot was good. The storyline definitely followed. It was consistent. When the movie first starts, you don't really know quite what's happening or where the movie's going to go. You just know that there's like this mystery, and then you go through the process of, it's not like he's a detective. It's not like he's looking for this issue. He's just like, it's a curious thing. It's like, hey, they show it from the perspective of somebody actually taking it, and you don't even know really what's going on. And then they show from the perspective of, the aftermath of somebody taking something and then ending up in a crazy situation. And it's like, wait, how did that situation happen? Then they show another situation where it's like they're coming in the aftermath of like, how did this person burn? Why is there a door handle? Like, it's like in this location, like what happened? And throughout the whole movie, the director is like taking you through this process of almost like giving you bits and pieces, but you're not getting anywhere near what's going on. And the characters are confused, but they have their own shit to deal with. They have their own personal lives. So it's like, it's just a job to them. They're confused. They're not like, oh, we have to figure out what this is and let's get together after work and try to put our minds together. Like, no, there's none of that, like, unrealistic. It's just like, hey, they're just living their life. But then it hits home when Dennis's daughter gets caught up in the mix, and they're just like, what happened? I need to find out about this. And they just don't know. And Steve is so pressed, and like they showed signs of where you could get it from, and there's like foreshadowing. So he goes straight to the source. I'm buying all of it, and I'm just destroying this. This is just throws it in the trash. Doesn't do any further investigation. It's just like, this is something bad, and that's it. And then when the whole guy breaks in the house, it's like, hey, I'm just trying to break in to destroy this as well. So we're on the same page. And I thought it was really weird when he bought it, and he was like, hey, I'll buy it off you for this much money, double the price. And he's like, no. And he's like, I'll triple the price. I'll give you this much. And it's just like, Steve has a job. He's not in crazy debt or anything like that, but he's not also living the high life. So it's like, it's that important to him that no amount of money is going to have him sell this to, put this back on the street, because every time this is associated with, some crazy death and crazy circumstances. So it shows who he is as a person. Like, he has morals and ethics. So I think the plot, at that point you realize what the plot is, like, or like halfway through the movie, you finally get the, hey, what's really going on? And then I love how they gave you bits and pieces of information about their life and how they grew up, and like they wanted to actually be doctors, and like they had much higher, goals to achieve, but they didn't achieve those. And so it's just like, naturally he's a scientist. So when he came up with a scenario, he did what scientists do. They have a theory and they test their theory. So it's just like everything was in line with the movie, and then that's when the storyline really just goes, and that's when you really figure out what the plot is. The plot is to figure out, like, what is this, and how do I help my friend's daughter? And the rare circumstance of situation is that he had the pineal gland that's like of a child, and that gives him, like, the ability to experience it like a young adult. So or like a young adult. So all these pieces are being introduced to you throughout the movie until you get to that point, and they do it so tastefully. It's not like overly in your face. It's something you have to pay attention to, because like, it's just one of those movies that you got to kind of pay attention to every little piece that they give you, and then it just all comes together beautifully at the end. So I thought the plot was, you find out the plot midway through the movie, and then the storyline was consistent all the way through.
All All right, amazing. What did you think about the plot or the storyline?
I liked it. I think just like Manic said, it you find out what it is, everything's consistent. I really again like the pieces where they tied so many kind of real life situations. So even going back to the Synchronic and the drugs right now, it actually made me think. I was listening to the news this morning in a nearby county. They had like 9 overdoses at the high school from like bad pills going around that have fentanyl, where like one of the kids was even getting CPR at the school. A couple of them had to get Narcan because they keep that at the schools now. For work, I'm in healthcare, of course, you guys know, but I was at a different hospital this morning and they had all sorts of kids in there because they all ate edibles at school and were just super high. Thankfully they were okay. But this is like, these drugs that are going around, I'm not saying they bring you back into time, but it does show people that it is killing people. So that's real, it just, again, it brought that real life aspect in. All you have to do is watch the news. I saw it twice, just today, and these were in high school. I think one was a high school, one was middle school. So I think it really does just bring into, going back to, would you suggest the movie to show kids? Yeah, I'm not going to say you're going back into time, but you don't know what you're taking. And that just seems like so many people nowadays will just take something that somebody gives them thinking like, hey, I'm going to have a good time or, whatever. But I really, again, I really like movies that, it really makes you think like this could happen. Again, I'm not saying we time travel, but just everything from even the paramedics and so many healthcare professionals being addicted to different medicine, and that's Dennis thought Steve was stealing the morphine at one point. That's a real life situation that happens a lot. The needle stick, where he found, which is how Steve found that tumor, is he was getting tested for this needle stick because he was getting follow up. I've had a needle stick. So there's just so many pieces that you're like, man, that it's just like real life stuff. So that's what I just really liked about the whole storyline. And as far as the plot, everything really was consistent as far as, beginning to climax to kind of wrapping things up to really make you think at the end, what's happening next.
Yeah, and I'll go ahead and get my take. I did like the plot and the storyline. I liked it a lot, and I like what Amazing was saying about it as far as the like drug addiction, and I like how they tied the science fiction into it because I don't know if y'all remember that one movie. What was the basketball player Earl Manigault, where he was able to dunk real high and stuff like that, but he got addicted to drugs. And I remember there was like one part of that movie where he was like about to get off the drug, and he was just like, hey man, it's only been like 6 days. I'm about to sober up and get back on the court, and fix, kind of like, hey, get back to playing basketball. They're like, hey, that was like 6 years ago. So I think like, and we'll definitely have to ask the directors or something like that. But I think they use the sci-fi element to show like how time kind of freezes when you do get addicted to drugs, to kind of push that message to show how you kind of get stuck in time. Cause I know a lot of times, like, they say like drug users, they'll think like it was just yesterday and it was that time didn't go that long. So, it would be like a span of 5 years that they've been like hooked to stuff. And then, once they kind of sober up, they're like, hey, what? That was only a few days ago. I was just at a party. And they're like, nah, man, that was, been that span. So I think they use the sci-fi element, the time travel to capture that, like how you get stuck in time when you, get addicted to drugs. So I just like the messaging of this movie, how they use that, and stuff like that, and how they showed, because like I like what you guys were saying as far as the storyline where, it didn't happen. You didn't understand what was going on until like middle of the movie, but the whole relationship dynamics, the issues that they were having in their personal life, it just kept the movie going where you didn't really even care. You're just like, hey, I know something's going on because they're finding the bodies and stuff like that. But hey, the storyline is just so great that don't even matter, until I get to that point. So, and then, he started doing this research and stuff like that. So yeah, great storyline, great plot. And we'll just go ahead and jump into what scenes or performances stuck out to you. And we'll go to the Manic Genius on this first.
Hold on 1 second. It was a lot. It was a lot that stuck out. I would say the thing that's probably stuck out. I wouldn't say the most, but just the relationship dynamic between Dennis and Steve. Um, they weren't just coworkers; they were best friends from all accounts, and they were very different. And I think a lot of times friends, they have very different qualities, but it's like there's something that just makes them get together, and they're damn near like brothers. And you see that when they had that argument. He calls him out. He's not letting his brother, just like you would do your brother. Like you wouldn't allow your brother to be so self-destructive that he destroys himself. You're gonna call him out. So I thought that scene was when he called him out and he was like, "No, I'm not having that," because he was being accused of something that we later find out he wasn't doing, and they fought. They got into a full blown fight, and then it was just like, "Fuck you, I'm driving off, like I'm going my separate way," and I think that's very real, because anybody who's grown up with a brother, y'all have definitely fought. And at the end of the day, you still love him, still your brother, and y'all still gonna be cool. It's just a matter of, certain lines get crossed, and you don't have the words. It resorts to physical. So I thought that scene really stuck out because I felt like that was very true, and you don't see that a lot of times in movies.
All right, we'll go to amazing on this. What scenes are actress performances stuck out to you?
I thought the actors, Steve and Dennis definitely stuck out just because I think they just did a really good job at their performances as far as, again, the relationship goes, like everybody else had said. Of course, the needle stick scene stuck out to me just because that's happened to me and it is very scary. So I could just imagine when he, goes in and gets the call back, because I would think like your immediate thought is, I have some, not cancer, like that's definitely not popping into your head. So, I think that just was like so much stuff is caught incidentally, I think, in healthcare. So for it to be a needle stick and then come from that, that scene definitely stuck out. I also, of course, the dog being brought and left. I was so angry about that scene because I felt like there's no way somebody's gonna bring their dog back with, like, people that like dog people, like that's part of their family. I'm going to like get a mouse from the pet store or something. I'll test this theory out with a mouse. I'm not bringing my dog with me. So that scene stuck out. And then it did get me thinking of just like in the movie, and this is another reason I really like this movie, is because I think it makes you think more like, man, where would you definitely not want to be if you're gonna take that pill? And with him being in New Orleans, I was like, definitely would not want to be there. Like, where could I pick that might be like the best of, if I had to be somewhere. And then the always. So I'm sure you guys noticed always was spelt wrong on the rock. So I think that was also, yeah, Corica or CLS. So
and I'm late to the party.
Are you good?
You'll be able to pick up. But that, it really got me thinking, like, okay, Brianna definitely did not make that message from, how they had that whole interaction in the trench or whatever. So then it got me thinking, okay, so should it have been 2 words, like all ways versus always, 1 word, ALWAYS versus all ways. So that got me thinking, like, could it be like all, I will, I don't know, all paths, or something. It made me think of it, because it would be 2 different meanings if it was 2 words always versus always 1 word. So it just
Damn, you
had.
dug deep
I
as
really
hell on
feel
that.
like
Yeah.
I just felt like that had to have meant something. So it's like, okay, did Steve write that? Is there going to be a part 2 and he's coming back? Because Brianna definitely didn't write it. Anyhow, so I got to thinking about that a lot.
Okay.
Those are the scenes.
Yeah.
All right, Casey, Fred, what scenes or actress performances stuck out to you?
There was quite a few. I really did enjoy kind of like what Manic was saying. You know, they take you on this journey and you do kind of like feel like you're putting a puzzle together and you find yourself trying to be a detective the whole way, trying to find out what's really going on and everything. And then when you find out what's happening with Steve, it's just like, for me, I know my heart was just going out like, man, because one of the scenes that really kept gripping me that he kept having was he kept having the coffin scene.
Yeah.
And then you find out later that that was his own family. And I felt like the reason why, and so his family was gone and there was nothing that he could do to bring them back or to protect them from what happened to him. But here is his best friend, Dennis, who has a wife, who has a daughter, and they're so close and they're so tight. And so all of a sudden he's like, well, you know what? This is my family here, and they have accepted me and been with me all this time. I'm gonna try to do whatever I can with the last days I have left to keep their family intact. And I felt like that's what really pushed them to kind of go down this road on this journey to be able to find. I think the daughter's name was Tara, wasn't it?
Brianna. Am I Brianna?
Is it Brianna or Tara?
Yeah, Brianna was the 18-year-old daughter, the one that went missing.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think it was Brianna. Tara might have been a mom, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes on this journey to find Brianna. And I thought it was deep because one of the reasons why I felt like it was deep is when you first meet Brianna, she's on the rock. And at the end of the movie, she comes back, she's on that same rock. And so it was so funny. One of the most funniest moments for me was, at least it had me laughing, was when all of a sudden he takes a pill, he's in the tree, he falls down, he's going around talking to this tribal group or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're not feeling him whatsoever. And they're all he was like, yo, man, I'm trying to find the girl, man. Why are you messing with me? You know, so he's like, he realized, man, I got to get out of here. So he runs back. And when he runs back, he climbs up the tree. He comes back into time. He gets all the branches or whatever off of him. And Brianna's best friend or friend with her comes in and says, he's like, I thought you told me, you know, she was right here. It's like, no, man, she wandered off. Like that. Like he wasted all that time sitting in that chair. You know what I mean? And so that was another pill that went down the tubes. That he's like thinking, man, you should have told me that. You just high, get out of here, you know, type of thing. And so that just had me in stitches. But I don't know. There was just so many different things. But and then I would have to agree with Amazing, the dog, because you realize he lost his own family, his mom, dad, and sister. So for him to be that tight with the dog and then lose the dog, I mean, he had the leash, but he lost the dog. And then you saw his face. He was trying to make a documentary and he had to keep doing it like 2 or 3 times because you could tell it was gripping him that, man, I just lost Hawkins, man. This is, I don't even know how to even put this in words, man. You know, this is my fault, you know? And it was just like he was coming to grips of it. And you could tell he was so shaken and so moved that he had to keep retaking the take over and over because he was trying to make a footage or whatever. And then I thought it was another scene of where him and I don't know if you guys do this because I've done it with my family, but not with best friends. They're out there walking and Steve starts telling him the truth. He's like, yeah, man, I got this tumor, man, and it's gonna kill me and stuff like that. and he wants to get mad at him. He's like, man, how come you didn't tell me? And this, that, and the other. And then all of a sudden he was like, yo, man, you see what you're going through right now? I didn't know when to tell you this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he had been drinking out of that bottle. And then he just passes the bottle over to Dennis. And Dennis started drinking out of it too. I was like, yo, bro, come on, man. You couldn't wipe that off or something like that. But that just showed you how close and how tight they were.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As far as not just working together, but best friends. Because a lot of people in this day and time, they wouldn't have done that, man. Come on. But that's how close they were. And so you could tell they made up for it. And then that's when he took the time and said, hey, let me show you on my journey how far I've came as far as trying to find your daughter. And this is the steps that we probably need to figure out. And hey, what would you do? You know what I'm saying? Try to think like your daughter. What would you do? Where do you think she would go? And so that's how the movie kind of progressed. And so I really, like I said, I really enjoyed it. That other scene I thought was just, it gripped me, was when he finds her and they both, you know, he got shot and they're trying to work their way back to the rock. And then here comes one of the dudes. He's like, but I forgot what he called him. Was it slave or something like that?
Yeah, slave.
And he turned back around or whatever. And he looked at his clock and he realized he only got 35 seconds. And he kept trying to get that dude to step on that grenade, I think it was, or bomb or something like that.
Landmine.
Landmine.
Yeah.
And then when he finally did, it was like you saw Brianna like fade in the background. And then all of a sudden, when he finally turned around, he realized he was gone, but he sat on that rock. And then that's when all of a sudden, you know, just his image, kind of like the dog, he appeared and was able to his last thing was really, couldn't say much, but was able to shake hands with his best friend one last time and said, hey, with my last breath, I did the best that I could, and I got your daughter and your family back. And that shaking their hands was just like, wow, bro, you did it, you know? And it was kind of like a RIP, rest in peace type of moment. And then that's how the story ended. And I just thought it was a good movie. I mean, you just did not see all of that coming. And it just made it really good. It really made it good. And so I liked it a lot.
One quick thing, just to add on, since Casey Fred just mentioned it, is one thing I also noticed was, did you guys realize? I don't remember if when he went back. I think actually it was when he went back with Hawkins, and he tried to punch the guy in the house, and he just kept like going, like it was illusion. So they didn't make actual contact.
Yeah.
So I also thought that was kind of an interesting twist, where he tried to make contact that time and he couldn't do it. Where, like you just said in that scene you talked about, they really kind of gave that goodbye holding hands. So it made me wonder what that was about. If you know, if there's going to be some sort of movie to follow up or something.
A good point. But all right, before I jump into mine, welcome to the show, CLS. Let me go to the rating slide real quick because I want to get your rating on this.
Oh, okay.
So what would you rate this movie as?
You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Surprised. Honestly, it was good. I thought it was good. It was better than I thought it was going to be honest with you. Because I was kind of hesitant about watching. I said, man, this shit probably ain't going to be good. And it was good, though. I like Anthony Mackie, though. So I would put it in that 7-8 category, like very good. You know what I mean?
Okay. So, okay. That's where most of us was like landing between 7 and 8. You know, Manny gave it like a 9.8.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's about an 8. Yeah, I would put it at an 8.
Yeah, because I had a 8.
Yeah.
Amazing had it in excellent territory. Fred was the lowest, though, but he was still in very good territory.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
but let me go to I'll throw the question at you.
All right.
So what like scenes or actress performances stuck out to you?
Well, Fred had mentioned it already. I didn't know if you wanted me to go backwards.
Yeah, go just whatever, because you might have a different perspective why you liked it. So yeah, just go ahead, cover it.
So just the ones I liked or stuff I disliked?
Or either or.
Okay.
What stuck out to you?
I'll start with the beginning. The opening scene I thought was good. I guess because I just thought it was just a regular like designer drug, you know, like LSD or ecstasy or something like that. Because they were I knew they were hallucinating. Because was that a hotel room? Remember that couple was in that room? Was that like a motel room or something?
That was definitely a motel. We covered that in our show
like,
the other day.
Okay. I was like, was that a motel or like a studio apartment or something? But yeah, it was a motel. So because he went to the elevator afterwards and he was hallucinating and it looked like what was it like he could see water or something, like it was almost like yeah. So I just thought they were just hallucinating. Same thing with her. I didn't know, like, you know, with the snake, and she started seeing like what's it like vines, or like she was in like a jungle or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it's just a drug kicking in, you know what I mean? And then until Anthony Mackie, was it Dennis and was it Steve? Yeah, he was Steve. And then his friend Dennis, they showed up at the house, you know what I mean? To treat the people at the house. And that's when I was like, oh, okay. So it was hard to figure out. And then I don't know if anybody mentioned this. Did anybody mention what the cop said to Anthony Mackie? When
nobody mentioned that.
When he was on the floor. I guess he was checking for a pulse. Remember, he was checking the female for a pulse.
Nah, what did he say to him?
Remember, the cop came up behind him and he was just like, he said, well, if you wasn't dressed like Tupac, what the hell you expect?
I caught that.
I remember that too. That was funny.
I was like, oh my God. But let me tell you why I really like that scene. When he said that. Because if you guys remember, in 2009, Anthony Mackie played Tupac in a Notorious film. Have y'all seen the Notorious film?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
The Biggie biopic. Have you seen the Biggie biopic in 2009? Anthony Mackie played Tupac. Yeah.
No, that okay.
Oh, wow.
I didn't even catch that.
That's a good catch, CLS.
That's what I told you. CLS the movie, man.
And another thing I thought was cool about that part was just the fact that I was just online not too long ago. People were having like this Eminem Tupac debate. I'll probably make the video tonight, but what I thought was cool about that, Tupac's been dead for like 27 years, right? Because I was talking about how like how he's pretty much he didn't just influence just rap and hip hop, like just pretty much just all genres, and just I don't know. I think he influenced everybody, because we're still talking about him, and he's been dead longer than he lived. It's been 27 years, and we're still talking about him, and they reference him in that movie.
Yeah, he definitely hit that legend category. I think, man, when you hit that status, you're definitely gonna like live on.
Because why him, Why does Anthony Mackie gotta be dressed like Tupac just because he had a jersey and some jeans on?
I think sometimes they throw those clever references, like you said, whenever actors be playing in multiple movies. So, I didn't even catch that, but that was
So why Tupac? You know what I'm saying? Why bring it? Why even put his name in it? You know what I mean?
No, that was a good observation. I didn't even catch that one. That's why I said I'm probably gonna have to go back, because there was a couple ones hearing you guys like speak of them. I'm like, dang, I gotta catch that scene again.
But then the scene when he's in the bar, when he's like, when he came back the other time or whatever, and he went to the bar and he was drinking, and the bartender was watching Back to the Future.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that part too. He was like, man, time traveling like that, man. If I went back to the past, it wouldn't be like that. I think he was talking about, he was dancing to no Chuck Berry. He was saying all that stuff. So I thought that was funny too.
Yeah, there was some foreshadowing in there. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I like how they did it, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go back. That's what I'm saying. I missed out on some stuff, but I'll go ahead. I'll give my scenes and performances. Man, I think all together, I like how whoever did the like camera work and the filming on this movie. I like how they made it like somewhat dark. Where it's just like, because I think that's how somewhat New Orleans is, like the vibe. So it just looked like foggy and stuff like that. So I like how they capture that element of it. And so one of the scenes that I'll say that stuck out with me was definitely the one like Fred mentioned, where they were like drinking and stuff, and my man just snatched a bottle. He didn't know whether to be mad, like he was caught in between being mad and sad. He didn't know how to process like that issue. So he was just like, hey, you know what? Let's just go ahead and drink, and we'll talk it out. And I like that also the scene where they were fighting, because it definitely, like Manic was saying, it reminded me of like a brother relationship. Like, hey man, we're gonna fight, but you know what? We're gonna go grab a beer afterwards. Mm-hmm. So yeah, those were like some of the major scenes that stuck out, and definitely like when they went back in the past, how it just tied in. And I like what Amazing was saying, like New Orleans with all the history and stuff like that. it makes sense why they would like go back to like I'll say the slavery era and stuff like that. So yeah, it was like a definitely a bad experience going back to that type of stuff. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, I just like the different elements that they showed in this movie. So overall, I liked every scene that kind of captured throughout this movie, like how it processed through and the different elements and stuff. Because I mean, it was just so many good scenes like back to back.
Yeah.
So all right, we'll go ahead and go ahead, CLS. Was you about to say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna add on what you were saying. And you were talking about how there was so many different I guess like time periods that he was like jumping into. Like, and then he realized it when he was in his living room and he started like marking, putting X's on the floor, and you know what I mean? He knows when he was on the couch, he went to the swamp, and then on the floor he was in, was it the Ice Age or something like that? When he was on the floor and he was
Yeah, that was an Ice Age.
Ice Age, right? Yeah.
Because that was him in the Ice Age, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean that was him?
The older guy that came up?
No, that was just a random caveman.
Yeah, it was just a random caveman. It did kind of look like him with a wig on.
No, I think that was him, like an older version, like
he did look black though. He did look like
he was black. I mean, he was definitely.
I'm telling you, man, that was him. That's what was like throwing me off because that's where like I think even Amazing was talking about it, like how he probably broke that stuff on a rock because I think he got stuck in time, somewhat. Yeah. I think that was the piece that was missing through everything where he probably got trapped in so long, like at the, when he got stuck, that he's just locked into maybe those whatever dimensions or whatever.
Yeah.
And so he like aged something or just kind of those like time periods or something.
Yeah.
I have to go back and look, but it looked like him because that's why I think he looked at the caveman for so long.
No, he looked at the caveman because he's like, what is this thing? Like, it's a person, but it really is a person. It's a caveman. But nah, it didn't look like him. Dude did have some color to him. He had some melanin. So
he had some melanin, yeah.
No, because you remember he went to didn't he go to the Ice Age twice? Because you remember he went there and then the dude tried to attack him, then he came back and they was like eating a Lunchable or something like that. Like
no, he built he went back with logs. You know what I'm saying? He built the fire. And that's when he kind of came over to him when he built the fire.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And he was like looking at him.
The first time he came, there was no caveman. It was just a mastodon in the background. And he would just realize it was cold. And he was like, okay, I'm making sure that I travel with clothes and a fire this time.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, had logs and everything. Logs.
Yeah, logs.
So you went there 3 times, right?
No, just twice.
He went there twice. He went there twice.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember. Yeah, go look at the face, man. I think it was him. I'm trying to tell you.
It wasn't him, man. It wasn't him.
Man, you've been right. You've been wrong a couple of times in these movies, man.
Man, I've been right. Yeah. I've been spot on.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, like that. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna add on something that Fred said, but I don't know what question you were going to next.
Oh no, we could go on that. Like, what you want to add on?
Nah, just that Civil War scene. I guess when he rescued was it Brianna from the trenches? Yeah, no, we would have bit that pill in half, bro.
That's what. Yeah.
I've seen people bite pills in half before. You could bite a pill in half. You know what I mean? He would have took half, but I guess he figured, okay, if we're both at the rock and we're making physical contact, like go hug her or something, they can go back together. So I figured that was the reason why. Plus, he wanted to help. He wanted to I guess help. What's his name? Dennis patch things up with his family because he really did take his family for granted. Dennis.
Yeah, he was kind of whining a bit. I like how he kind of checked him in the movie. He was like, "Man, if you don't stop whining, I would love to be in your shoes."
He took his family for granted. Yo. He took his marriage, his family, and what was? Oh, I had a question too. Wasn't there like remember at the beginning when Steve goes home and he had a woman in his bed? Was that his girlfriend?
Nah,
that was a late night jump off.
Oh, okay. Because I thought maybe I missed something because it was like I thought maybe that was like a steady girlfriend or something. I was like, how come they never? Because they didn't show her anymore the rest of the movie. So I thought I didn't know.
Because you remember he was talking to her like it was a very like awkward. He was like trying to be nice, but she was like, "Nah, I'm good.
He's like, you can let yourself out."
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you. So Hawkins was like his only family. Yeah.
Because that reminds me. That was the other scene I was trying to think where they had that like little outing at by that rock and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much, I guess Steve was like, the story came out somehow where like Steve had a roster and he was just like, "Hey man, I pretty much like gave your mom to your dad and stuff because I was, That was funny. I was just like, damn, Steve is a playboy. He just like helped out his homie. He was like, hey man, like I'm good at this point. Todd to Dennis. He has no game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I thought that whole element was funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
So all right, we'll go ahead. We'll jump into the fourth question. If you were the director or the producer of the movie, what would you change or do differently to this movie? And I'll go to Fred first on this.
The only thing I would have changed is, like I said, I wish that they could have, like, maybe at the end of the movie show some credits where, you know, they would either come back for him or show you some kind of thing where they would, you know, you really thought, oh wow, they're gonna have a part 2 to this type of thing, because one thing he did give the ultimate sacrifice, and that was his life, to be able to spare his best friend's daughter and to really bring them back, their family together. Because a scene that we haven't talked about, but it cracked me up. The mom, they're at their house and he's making these flyers or whatever, and she just flips out and says, "What you doing? You think you doing something? You know what I'm saying? You better get out in these streets and find our daughter. You ain't doing nothing," and stuff like that. And you know, he was just like, it just hit reality. And I know he felt real small because he was like, she just did a 180 on him. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he thought that they would be closer and be able to work on this together. But the reality was he was on this journey by himself. And so he didn't know what to do. And here it is, you know, Steve, on the other hand, he's seen his last days, and you kept seeing little moments, even when he was with Dennis, talking about, look at this air I'm breathing. Look at the sunshine. Just look at everything. He's like, I've taken it all for granted, but yet in this moment, I'm going to breathe it and just enjoy it because I don't know when it's going to be my last. And so I just, like I said, you find yourself throughout the movie just rooting for Steve the whole time. And you just felt really bad that he ended up turning out the way he did. But the cool part about it was his life wasn't in vain, because, you know, he was like, you know, with my last breath, I'm going to help out my best friend and get his daughter back for him, which is what he did. And I just thought that was really cool. And it was like that handshake at the end. I just thought between two, not best friends, but two brothers, was just like, you would hope that all of us would want to be able to do that. So, but yeah, if there was something I was going to change, I would definitely want there to be a part 2 or something.
Yeah.
So,
Fred,
what's up, man?
No, when you said you were like, you would hope that like all of us would want to be able to do that, and I'm like, give up your life, and that jerk. It's like, huh?
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm taking all them pills. Your kid get trapped back in time with me. Hey, listen, I'm coming back. So I'll tell you a great story about your child. Like, hey, he was valiant. He held up a good fight. He allowed me to escape.
Bit that pill in half.
You're gonna see me. So there's gonna be some depression on your face because I'm coming out. You be like, hey, where's Brianna? I'm like, hey, listen, there was one pill. But I like where you're going with that, Fred. But yeah, don't let us all into the nice guy stuff, because I'm definitely I'm not in that category. I'm definitely a scumbag.
That's what I'm saying. I would have either bit that pill in half, or I'd have took a bullet in the back. Because he was holding a musket, right? Wasn't it a musket?
Yeah, it was a musket.
Because you only get one shot. You know what I'm saying? So even if he would have hit him with that one shot, he would have had to dump gunpowder in it. You know what I'm saying? Use that stick they use. You know what I mean?
He would like
doing all this shit. So I would just man. He would have to shoot me in the back, or I don't know how good.
Yeah, I would have definitely. Oh, go ahead, man.
No, I was just gonna say I would just took one in the back. Because I mean, a paramedic, it's not like he couldn't patch him up when you get to the other side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. All right, man, and we'll get your take on this one. Because we're gonna circle back to that, because that's gonna tie into my like change.
Yeah. Honestly,
right,
man, I gave it a 9.8. So I wouldn't change anything about it. You know, other than making a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. And I'm gonna have a follow up for you on that. So I'll go ahead and get amazing on that. If you were the director or producer of the movie, what would you change or do differently?
Of course, I would not have left Hawkins behind. I feel like if they were gonna leave Hawkins,
That was heartbreaking.
yes, it
It
was.
really was, man. I was upset at that. I was really upset at that point.
I was.
That's reality,
too.
though.
Yeah.
No,
dude.
that is not
Dude,
reality. If
had-
you love your dog, you're not taking the dog with you. Like you're
Yeah.
taking some. You're gonna go find a feral cat or these cats.
You're gonna have a feral cat.
Yeah, you are not taking your dog, especially when that's like your family.
Yeah.
So now, if they wanted to,
Well, he
do
had
a
the
dog
leash and stuff. I think he
he
was
had
just
the
like,
leash.
hey man, you know, you ride with each other, so it went wrong.
But
Yeah.
he should have figured that part out. Remember when he was sitting on the couch, he had his arm around him when they time jumped or whatever. His arm was, I think, partially around him. He wasn't just holding the leash.
Yeah, it was just unexpected events that the dog got away and stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
then I'd go back with CLS's. Like there was a half a pill. Maybe try half of it to get Hawkins, half of it to get
Yeah, there you go.
Rihanna.
There you go. Because all they gotta do is just make contact now. He knows I gotta make contact with the subject and then come back.
But yeah,
with that.
when it showed Hawkins like looking at him and that
Aw,
like
yeah.
so sad.
That was
So
sad.
so I feel like even if they were gonna go ahead that route, Steve and Hawkins should have been left behind together, not separate. So I think they could have, like done something too where maybe Brianna was around and they found Hawkins. I just was upset that Hawkins is by himself.
Yeah.
Steve is somewhere.
But on the bright side, Hawkins was a white dog, so I don't think those skinheads would have killed him. They definitely would have killed. They definitely would have hung Steve ass. But he's a white dog. He's fine. He'll still be alive on the other side. But
One thing I did think, so I think Hawkins was some sort of doodle probably. I was like, oh, at least everybody loves a doodle. Like they're probably looking at him. But I was like, poor Hawkins.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, Hawkins was getting old anyway, so
yeah, but
he didn't have much life in him left anyway.
Still.
He looked like he had he looked like he had plenty of life.
That shit was
Definitely not worth the pill.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was
And
so
then
sad.
And that dude, was it the chemist? Did y'all catch the part where when Steve was with Steve, right? Yeah, when he's driving in the car and then he hears the report on the radio saying that the chemist committed suicide.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
So now he don't have anyone to, I guess, make more of the drug.
Yep. Well, and I know Jerk and I talked about that a little bit where, if they did do a sequel to it of the way all these drugs are out and about, like, finding somebody who's been stashing these drugs or, something. But yeah, that's the part I would have changed was definitely the Hawkins.
Yeah.
But I do think it would definitely be a good sequel if there was a movie to follow up. And of course, like happy ending Steve come back with Hawkins, of course.
Yeah.
And then go from there.
Yeah.
But I'll go ahead and give my little take real quick. And I wouldn't change too much of the movie because I thought it just went along too well. But like CLS mentioned, yeah, definitely I would have tried like half a pill. If you're doing all this research and stuff, I would have tried that from the jump. And then also just I'll probably say towards the end where I do think like Dennis should have stepped up, like, hey, let me go in there, and try to salvage, what this was my daughter and stuff, so I think he should have kind of been in the mix a little bit more, even though Steve was like, I think they kind of made some twist where he had to go back too, and then maybe Steve's just like, hey, look, man, you can't take that risk.
Well, no, he couldn't go back because he didn't have.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
Gland. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're
So I guess he figured he's gonna die anyway. So you know what I mean. Why not help my friend's family?
Yeah. Well, there goes my alternate ending. Manic Genius. Thanks for ruining it. Would you have a bad day at work or something? You just want to destroy. But you're right. Yeah, because I forgot about that like landing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, honestly, I wouldn't change too much because I like how they left it open ended, and I think I did have a follow up question. But Casey, Fred, did you give your alternate ending? Did I go to you first on this?
Yeah, we went to
you
him
already
first.
came to me first, bro.
Oh, okay. So what about you, CLS? If you were the director or producer of this movie, what would you change or do differently?
One
Probably-
second. I'm gonna need you to pay attention, Jerk, because you need to call on people appropriately. Pay
Can
attention.
you mute
please.
yourself? You threw me off with all the like the dog whining and all that stuff. You're petting your dog, looking
was-
like Corinna DeVille over there.
That was sad though. That was
Go
sad.
ahead. Sorry, CLS.
I would change that part. No, I agree with her. I would have changed the part with Hawkins though. I think I would have changed. I would have definitely changed that part.
Oh,
That shit was sad, bro.
yeah, it was pretty
I
sad.
think
ain't gonna
Hawkins
lie.
deserved to be left.
That's messed
Yeah,
up.
he was
So
a
you must
test
not be a
subject.
dog lover. You must not be a dog lover, huh?
Nah, I love dogs, but Hawkins was a bad dog. I mean, he didn't listen.
Oh, was it?
You know, Steve
That is
clearly
a good
told him
point.
to come here. He was
Yeah.
like, Hawkins, come here. Hawkins, come here. Hawkins was like,
I
I'm
mean,
by
he
the
was-
door. Like,
So he was
you
in
gotta
a,
come get me.
he was in a
Like,
strange.
come on now.
They was in a strange clan member's
He
house.
deserved. It's
So
like
maybe
you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
But you know, dogs follow
That's a good
smell.
point, man. I'm kind of with you.
He just smells skinhead everywhere. He's just walking around sniffing. That's what dogs do. They sniff. He's just sniffing white sheets, white bed sheets. So he's just roaming around the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Hawkins needed to take accountability. That's why he was left.
Yeah, he dipped out. So yeah.
Um,
But all
I
right,
didn't
let me. Oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I didn't like the ending. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get why he sacrificed himself like that, but I still didn't like it.
Mm.
But
I
anyway,
liked it.
Why didn't you like that ending? If I could ask you.
he said, "Why did not?"
Yeah.
I mean, besides the obvious, it was sad. You know, I mean, like I said, we understand why he did it, but it was still sad. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. Because initially I thought like, remember when I guess after he kicked the chemist out of his house. I thought maybe because he looked down in the trash can and he still had the drugs after he lied to him and told him that he flushed it. Yeah, I thought maybe he thought if he tried the drugs, then maybe that would help with with his cancer. That's why I thought. I didn't know about the time travel thing. That completely threw me off.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. I don't know, man. I didn't want to see him go out like that. To be honest with you, I just didn't want to see him. I wanted to see him kind of have a somewhat happy ending too.
He went out as a hero.
He did. Yeah.
What happier ending could that be?
I mean, just still though, man. Still, you want to be stuck in 1812?
Yeah, that was
I
a bad
think
time.
it doesn't really show that it like he went out though. Like I still feel like it's
Yeah.
like such an open possibility that he could come back and still be the hero.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So let's get into the sequel because I mean I had the same like sentiments y'all did as far as like I actually like the ending because I like how it left it open ended because it just ended with a handshake. So it's just like we don't know what like could happen, and I think Amazing was kind of hitting on it because like we were talking about it, and I was just like, hey, nah, I think even though the one like scientist died.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody else, like the girl's like, no, I know somebody who has a stash of the drugs.
Mhm.
Then they could go get it, and go back and like maybe him being in the past, like did something with his gland and stuff, where maybe he's healed because he done traveled so much or something like that. It did something where like, so yeah, I think they could do so many spins on it.
I don't think they are though.
Yeah, nah, they probably won't. But I just like the possibility of movies sometimes when they leave it just open ended, where it's like, man, you could sit there and like speculate, like, damn, they could go this route. So that's why I'm saying I like the ending. It was definitely sad because I think Steve did do a heroic act, but I mean he was like he had a terminal illness too, so it was just like it made sense why he would take that route and kind of sacrifice himself because he saw his friends like life self-destructing in front of his face, and he was just like, I'm not gonna allow that to happen. And when they kind of gave the flashbacks, I think Casey Fred broke down the scene where they talked about his family like turning up in the coffins, and even
Katrina.
dealing with that like incident, he was more worried about Dennis like not being able to handle that type of thing. So he was just always a selfless guy, so I just I love the ending, man, like how it kind of played out. Gave that suspense, but it left it open-ended where you didn't see him die or anything. So it's just like they can potentially like do a sequel and follow on with that. And Manic, I think what was you saying about a sequel?
I was just gonna say, I was gonna second that pretty much. It did leave it open-ended. I would have did a little things differently. I think this is when CLS was talking. Like I would have, if that dude came with a musket, I would have been like, hey, I would have tried to do something to just stall. Like I wouldn't have left that rock. I would have definitely took that bullet, but I would have been like, hey, I want to show you something. I'm not just any slave. I'm a special slave. Like, do you know magic?
But it says
He was like,
something.
magic? I'm like, yes, I can show you some magic. Watch this. And I mean, he still was from the future, so I'm sure he still had his watch. He still had I could have took that off and been like, look at this. This thing shows time. This. I would have been like just distracting, just stalling. Because what else is the dude gonna do? Shoot me? I said, get up off your feet. Like, okay, I'm doing it. I just have to tell you this. Like, and you're just gonna shoot me while I'm telling you? Like, okay, then I'm gonna die anyway. Like, I'll take that chance. I'm not getting off that rock though. Like, I'm gonna try to talk my way. I'm like, hey, I noticed your shoes. Like, check these out. Like, I take them off and be like, yo, check. Like, I would have did everything, but I would have not
got shot with a musket.
I probably would have, but I would not have left that rock. Yeah,
I'll take that. I'll take a musket shot.
But you guys all right. A musket, man. You got one good shot.
Yeah, one good shot.
You probably don't even got one good shot. It's just a shot. So it's like after that, you got to reload. I would have snuffed you or something through a rock. And
you saw the distance between him and that rock, right? The guy holding the musket. I mean, what's the accuracy on a musket anyway? Anybody ever fire a musket before? What's the accuracy?
I have. They're not accurate, man. Because it was funny. We had to go through the exercise like you were saying. And I was like, man, how you even fight a war with these dumb things back in the day? Like you're honestly better off with a bow and arrow. Pretty much. I would have that part they probably could have changed a little bit, but yeah, we would have had to fight it out at that point. I'm like, I got a good shot with a person with a musket.
You do. You could have took your shoe off and threw it at him, for real. You could have. You really could have, hit him with your shoe.
Yeah, so I like what Manic was saying as far as going that route. Yeah, I would have done something. I'll be like, look, I'm getting on this rock. Yeah, so they could have all made it back. But
yeah, I don't think pretty small chance we're going to see a sequel, though. I Googled the film. This movie came out in 2019, bro. They ain't making no sequel.
Yeah, Anthony Mackie's kind of popping now. He's got a whole series, so.
Oh, yeah.
But I did rate this as a 9.8, so they might look at it and be like, yo, Manic put it as a 9.8. We might need to make a sequel.
Nah, bro.
Nah, he's gonna be like the jerk. The jerk said we're official. Like, get the cameras rolling.
Nah, that's too much time, bro. 2019, and you got to think Anthony Mackie is he's the new Captain America now, bro. That new film come out next year, bro.
Oh, I couldn't think of where I seen him at.
2024. He's the new Captain America now, bro. Have you seen Endgame? Like, nah, he's the new Captain America now. It come out next year. He ain't thinking about no damn,
Nah, but I think sometimes they like these performances, man, because it shows their range. Because man, if you're a superhero, sometimes you got the hype of that role, so it don't forecast your skills and stuff. And I think in this movie, man, these type of things, that's what gets you those what is it, Grammy, Oscar? I know one's for music or something, but
Oscar nominations on.
Oscar,
Though, if you look at his catalog, though, I've seen most of his movies from since 8 Mile. And that came out 2002?
Yeah.
Papa Doc.
No, he's done everything. He's played
Clarence.
Yeah. And remember he was in that movie
School.
Remember he did the movie Crossover when he was a basketball player?
Yeah, nah, he was in a lot of.
Remember? Yeah, I know you seen. I probably watched it with you.
Yeah, we did actually.
You did watch a lot of movies. Yeah. He was in $1 Million Baby too.
Yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff, but I mean, he had a great performance, man. Definitely a great actor. So, I think a lot of them they do those type of roles. So, I mean, they could do it. Maybe he is busy because he is in a lot of features and stuff. But
he's busy, bro. He's too busy. And then the dude Dennis, I kind of combed through it because I remember his face when I saw his face. I've seen him somewhere before. The only movie I seen him in is 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah, have you seen 50 Shades of Grey? I didn't watch the whole trilogy. I just saw the first. Yeah, he was Christian Grey. Yeah, he just had a beard. See, in 50 Shades of Grey, he had a shaved face.
He don't put on a couple pounds though.
Yeah, he gained some weight and got a beard. He got a full beard in this movie, but it was Christian Grey. Yeah.
And the one lady, his wife in there, she was on that one TV show. It was funny as hell. I forgot the name of it, but where they always did the football
yeah.
Damn, it was based on what they call it, man, where you pick your team and stuff. It's like the
Fantasy
fake football, fantasy football league.
Fantasy football. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a funny show, man. So she was on there. So yeah, so I could see them probably being busy.
And Brianna, I've seen her on an episode of Law and Order SVU.
Yeah, she ain't popping. But
But
the rest of them,
she's done other stuff. I'm just not familiar with the movies, the projects that she did, like the other films and television stuff. Yeah, I just remember on Law and Order because her face looked familiar. Yeah.
So I have a question.
okay. Go ahead.
If you had if say it was real and you got to take a pill and go back in time, where do you think the best place and worst place would be at any moment in time?
Oh man, that's a good question.
You talk about like if you had to take it like in a city, kind of like how they did in the movie.
Just say like you had to take it like right now. I actually that's why I said I like movies that make you think, because I was walking and like right by our house is a Confederate cemetery, so I'm like I definitely don't want to take it here.
I'm going somewhere like I'm going to like Fort Lauderdale, like on a beach or something.
Woodstock, like the original Woodstock. That would be one place we could go. The original one.
I'm going.
So I was like, well, where would be the best
I'm
place
taking
to
it.
take your chances?
Huh?
I said
I'm
I was just
taking
thinking,
it.
where's like the best place to take the chance?
Oh,
Miami.
Okay, Manic.
White Woodstock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It had to be somewhere
Miami,
Miami.
1995.
Well, you don't get to pick the day. You don't get to pick the year.
Near Uncle Luke.
Just
Oh yeah.
He's at a Tupac Crew concert. He's gonna be at there.
Oh yeah.
That don't stop.
Yeah.
Fred, where would you take? If you had to take the pill, like what location would you take your chances at?
I think I would definitely want to be somewhere nice and warm, like Hawaii or something like that.
I was thinking Hawaii too, but I don't know. But you could come up at a volcano or something. But yeah, even like New Orleans again, I was like, definitely would not take that pill in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You can't take it at a place that has like.
You can't take it
All
anywhere
that
in the
is-
South.
Yeah, that's why I was saying put me on the beach because they can't too much happen there. So it's just like.
Yeah. What if you end up like Tom Hanks in Castaway though, when it's some deserted ass island somewhere?
Canada.
You still got the volleyball. I'll sleep with the volleyball.
You mean fucking coconuts and volleyball?
Hey, CLS. The one thing you got to remember, CLS, is anything before 1965, we were either segregated or slaves. So at the end of the day, you would need to be able to be somewhere where you was pretty much secluded, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, I
north.
don't need to be around nobody. Yeah, like Manny said, you can't be down south, like that type of drug.
Yeah. But wasn't Woodstock in the 70s?
Yeah,
Was it
but,
the 60s or the 70s, right? No,
Yeah,
not
it was
that
60s.
60s, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Woodstock.
Oh,
You say you go to straight Woodstock.
Talking about like the original Woodstock, not that remake shit they tried to do like some years back.
But let me ask y'all a question, because just think about the plot of the movie. Do you even think it was really about time travel, or was it? Because Amazing had a good point where like a lot of medical professionals sometimes get addicted to drugs and stuff like that.
They do.
So you think it was just actually about him like getting hooked on the drugs because of his like, cancer and stuff like that? More or less like the plot, how he just got trapped into time and stuff like that because his addiction. Sounds like that could be a whole angle too, where it's just like they used the time travel to like capture that, but it was more or less like his addiction versus everything else. No, all right.
Well, I don't think he wasn't.
It was a reach.
Yeah.
He wasn't addicted though. Like he was never really addicted to anything. I do think like I like the point that you made at the beginning where it said or where you had said how addicts like they don't really understand like the time frame that something may happen. And now I don't think it's like years, but you do see addicts that like maybe end up on a ventilator or something and then come to and have no clue what happened, and they've maybe been out for days. But I do think it had I just think again it brought so many like real life scenarios to the forefront of this stuff happens like literally every single day all over the place. You know, people get stuck, you find these diagnoses, there are these relationships, and how even Manic had mentioned earlier, you know, it's always kind of like single people looking at married people and married people looking at single people. It was just like so many different perspectives and real life scenarios that they brought into the movie. I just liked all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that's why,
could CLS oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's exactly why I had it so high, because they incorporated so much, and they didn't incorporate it from a standpoint of like so far extremes that it was like unrealistic. They did a very realistic, like somebody in the writing, you know, either has experience or is just real hip to like the realities of different situations where they incorporate it while telling a story, but not taking away from the story. So it was just like, I mean, you don't see movies do that often, like all the way through with just realistic points. So that's why I liked it so much. All the points that Amy had pointed, or Amazing had pointed out.
Yeah.
But CLS, the movie I was like in the beginning where I was like, you remember it was about that Earl Manigault Rebound. That was the name of the movie.
Rebound.
And you remember when he like kind of started like sobering up, like he was like, hey man, I'm gonna go back into the lead, man. It's only been like 6 days. And that's why I was telling him, I was like, you know, a lot of addicts and stuff, they don't know how much time lapse, you know, when they start getting on there.
Because he came home, he came home for I think it was Mr. Rucker's funeral, because Mr. Rucker died.
Yeah, that was it.
And then like then he was down at jail at the jailhouse or whatever. I guess what was it? His aunt and his girlfriend came to pick him up, and he was like, why are you tripping? You said everybody takes a couple of semesters off at college. And she's like, what are you talking
he thought it was like a short period of time, but they were like, man, it's been like 6 years. You know,
it's been like 3 or 4 years. What do you say? It's been almost 5 or 6 years. What are you talking about? A couple of semesters.
Yeah. So I think because until you said it, Amazing, where like it's like people do like start doing drugs and stuff. They might have an injury too, you know, like because you see a lot of like people that got hooked to what was the one drug like for pain and stuff like that.
Perks.
Like all the oxys and
all that stuff. So you know, it's just like, man, you don't. Sometimes you're taking it for the right reason, but you might get hooked. And then I think that they try to capture that element too with him, where it's just like, hey, you know, he has his illness and stuff, so he's like taking the pills, and that's why maybe they kind of, you know, use the plot to capture like how people do get hooked, you know, from like those illnesses too, because I know that does play out.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, because I never thought about it until you kind of said it, and I was just like, damn, you know what? You know, that does happen quite a bit.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping, since it was an experimental drug, like a designer drug, I was hoping maybe that would treat his tumor, and that's why he decided to take it. I thought maybe it would help maybe treat it somehow.
Hey, I think you guys are on to something, because you know how they always say you're like only one idea for millions. What if there was a part 2, and this pill was always taking you to the past, but then there was a pill they finally made that took you to the future that would all of a sudden not only find the cure, but then also bring him back, Steve back, and Hawkins. And only the young people, like his daughter, would be part of that series to be able to bring him back, because we all knew it couldn't be Dennis, because Steve had already told him, and he said, yo, man, you too old. There's no way you could take this pill and be able to go back in time. But the young people were the only ones that were being able to take the pill. So then if you use them to be able to take this second pill that took you into the future, then you could find that person or that cure to be able to bring Steve and Hawkins back. And I think that would be kind of cool for a second movie.
Yeah, I think that too, man. But you know, also just piggybacking off of that, it's just, you know, by the time, like a lot of times people, when they get like drugs and stuff, they start trying to replicate it. So I could see like somebody actually trying to make it too. So they got a lot of angles, like Fred, what you were saying, like take that would be a pretty cool spin on it. But also just, yeah, I think there's just pills floating down that they ain't know, like that's sitting out there that they could actually go back. But like what CLS said, it makes sense. Like Anthony Mackie might not be like, he'd be like, look, I'm Captain America now. I need M's on that check, you know. And there's gotta be some commas on that.
And then they're gonna replace him with like some C-list actor, or it'd be like a D-list actor or something. It's gonna be
Yeah.
a new Steve.
No, I
Yeah,
definitely would
whole
like
new
to see
Steve.
him back in there, to connect it. But yeah, no, that was good. I didn't think about the future spin because that'd be a whole nother element,
You're gonna have
take
a
it
new
a whole
Steve.
nother direction.
As if they make one, they gonna have a new Steve.
Yeah, I would definitely, man. I would like look into this movie to see what the plot line was because I'm interested because I think they took it in so many different directions where it could have been about more or less his addiction. Once he went down that path where they added the other elements, but it was truly about just him kind of spiraling out of control, maybe. And then the whole like going to the past was maybe like the psychedelic type element, to drugs and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, but y'all shot it down. I don't like you guys.
He was like, it would probably be like, what was it? Remember when you see the first Iron Man movie? Remember when Iron Man 2 came out and we found out that they replaced Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle?
Yeah, that was because it was Don Cheadle actually that was in that Rebound. He was Earl Manigault, like when he was all strung out. That's he was shooting up in his calf and all that. Yeah, so
yeah. No, that's what they would do with this movie. You're gonna be a whole new actor. That's my point. I was just trying to be funny.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that's funny.
Be a whole new actor.
But all right, we'll go ahead and jump to the last question. So now that you guys heard other perspectives, would you like to change your score or keep it the same? And we'll start with you, CLS, and I'll pull up the rating scale. You said you was in between 7 and 8. You just keep it there, or would you go up or go down based on like?
Oh no, I would keep it there.
Okay,
I would keep it there. 7 8. I would keep it there.
How about you, Casey, Fred?
I would still keep it at 7.5. Only for the simple fact I kind of wish the ending would change.
Yeah.
All right, you still holding on to that ending, huh, Fred?
Yeah, I agree
you
with
with CLS.
I agree with Fred.
How about you, Amazing?
I'll say with 8.5. I actually think that's the highest score I've given something.
Yeah, you're pretty stingy with your scores.
So I'll do 8. They would have gotten a 9 if Hawkins wouldn't have made it out.
Yeah, you would have had it up there with Manic, huh? You would have been up in like Titanic territory, huh?
Yeah, I would have pushed it to a 9, but
yeah, I'm also gonna keep my score. So I already had it like at an 8, right? Sitting on between very good and excellent. So I'll just keep it there, but definitely a great movie.
She gave Titanic a 9?
No, I was just saying Manic gave it a 9.8. I was saying, that's a classic. So, when you think of classics, you think of something like that. Manic was like, hey, this is 9.8.
Okay.
That's what he rated this.
He thinks Titanic, he thinks that movie's a classic too? He liked that movie?
Nah, he probably doesn't, but he got this in classic territory.
I'm right here, guys.
Yeah. That guy Manic is a loser. So Manic,
does he think?
You can't really go too much higher, but would you drop it down or you would stay the same?
After hearing everybody's points, especially I think Fred and Amy, how they were tying the just everything that was discussed in the movie. I think I'm gonna.
Oh, you didn't hear my points? I
mean, I did hear your points, but it wasn't anything that I had already covered.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna raise my score to a 9.9.
Damn. Okay.
Bump it to 11.
Yeah. We might have to give him like a reform scale and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, what would you consider classics? Would you consider like a Titanic a classic?
It's been a while since I've seen the Titanic, and I don't think I've
How
ever.
about Beetlejuice?
I don't think I've ever watched.
Had a marathon.
Yo, they're making a sequel that comes out, I think, next year.
I don't think I've ever watched the Titanic all the way through.
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting.
I can't. Oh, and Winona Ryder's going to be in it.
Beetlejuice a good 6.5.
Yeah,
just to shoot that down. No, it's not a classic.
Well, sorry, you never watched Titanic?
Not all the way through. I've watched. It's a long movie.
It is. Long. I went to the theater for that.
Well, Leonardo DiCaprio, he got didn't he paint her naked? He painted her.
Yeah,
naked.
he did.
Yeah,
he definitely did.
Was it what was her name? I forgot her name. Was it Kate Beck? No, it wasn't Kate Beckinsale. I can't
Rose.
remember her name.
What's her name?
Yeah, Well, that's her camera name.
Yeah. So Godfather. That's considered a classic.
That's classic. Yeah, that's classic.
Okay.
Scarface, a classic.
Oh yeah, Scarface. Oh yeah, Al Pacino. Yeah.
Okay.
See,
so
I don't
you're
think
in
I
that
ever watched
territory.
those full through.
But
there's a couple classics.
What was it?
But yeah,
but
this is
any-
up there, man. Because I was gonna say,
Yeah,
this
I
is
was
up
just trying
there
to get your
because-
range of like classic.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
you up there. So okay, you really dug this movie. No, it was definitely a great movie, man. So
Yeah. I mean, if I went to go see it in theaters, I would have been happy because I mean, this is a movie that made you think, and then it
Yeah.
had like other elements, like don't take what you have for granted because it can be taken away from you.
Mhm.
And even your health, like monitor your health because like Amazing was saying, like he ended up finding out about his tumor because of a needle stick.
Needle
So
stick.
if he wouldn't have had that needle stick, then he would have never had his blood work checked, and so I think it's really important to as you age to get your physicals and get your checkups, get your blood work done and all that stuff because people are dropping, and you
Damn
could
that.
look healthy on the outside.
Yeah. That's why I think.
I'm gonna gamble with my life.
Said married men live longer than single men.
That's incorrect.
No, seriously. Now look it up. Google it right now. But only because they have their their partner.
It's like 0.5 or something like that.
Dude, I'm
Their
telling you, man.
partner that like
Your
calls
partner.
the doctor, makes other
Yeah.
Yeah,
appointments
that calls the
for
doctor,
them.
forces them to go.
Exactly.
CLS, that was like a faulty
Dude.
stat. I'm trying to tell you, man.
It's stat, man. It was a men's health. Google it.
That's
Google
true.
it.
That's
It
true
is
for.
I was watching
25
Snap the other day, and I disagree with you. Those guys don't live longer.
Well, that's different, though. It's different if your spouse murdered you because you was out doing bullshit. Yeah, that's different. That's different. Yeah.
But it is kind of, if you think of it on the, it's kind of like a double-edged sword too, because I have seen in real life where people also say like, like say they get a devastating diagnosis, that could be like a couple weeks or a month, and they're like, I wish I didn't even know. Like, I wish I would have just went to sleep and didn't wake up. And I could see that too.
Yeah.
But do you really though? Because like if you've made investments and you've lived your life doing the proper things to plan for your future, and you wouldn't want to know, because if you're sitting on like your retirement, you could pull that out. Like, who cares if you're getting taxed out the yin yang? Like, that extra year makes all the difference. You could go out and start tackling your bucket list for your last year instead of worrying about
Have you ever
Hell no, I don't want to know,
Yeah,
man.
dude,
you don't want to know?
Have you seen that movie Bucket List though? With was it Morgan Freeman and with Jack Nicholson?
I
would go out like that. I want to know, dude. I want to just check and start going down that list.
Nah.
Yeah.
Or not.
mean-
Not actually. I didn't see that one. I saw one. The Last Holiday with Queen Latifah. You remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
And then she like spent all this money and then found out she was gonna live, and I think she was gonna be in like major debt. Like I don't know.
No, they were dying though. Like Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson, they were terminal, so they knew they were gonna go. And then Jack Nicholson had all the money, and Morgan Freeman had the list. He was like, "Dude, let's start going down this list." Yeah.
I mean, because it would constantly be on your mind. So I mean, it could be good and bad. So I see what y'all talking about, but yeah, nah.
I would be doing everything, man. I'd be smoking weed, doing porn. I would be doing all kinds of stuff, yo. If I had terminal cancer, man, if you had terminal cancer, you're gonna die anyway. So why not die happy? You know what I mean?
I'm gonna get y'all to get me on camera. My legacy's gonna live on through film.
Nah, I definitely have a bucket list, man. I don't know if I would want to know. I'm just like, man, let it come to me, man. Like, yeah. So that's a tricky one.
I mean, I want to die in the damn Civil War.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to do that. I ain't trying to die in that.
Nah, you die on the beach. You know what I'm saying? In Miami somewhere. Yeah.
But we'll go ahead. We'll close this one out. So now, definitely a great movie. We'll go around real quick. Amazing. Where can we find you at? Any parting words?
No parting words for me. Just watch the movie. It was good.
All right. The Manic Genius.
You can find me on Manic Sophistication. And this was a great movie. 9.8. Y'all should check it out. Synchronic. It's on Netflix.
All right. KC Fred.
IG, Facebook, Twitter, and I would have to agree also, this was a good movie. Definitely a good twist. And I really hope it would be a sequel. Maybe not, but you would really want it to.
All right. CLS. Where can we find you at? Any parting words?
Well, I would say, oh yeah, find me on TikTok, IG, YouTube, Facebook. This is CLS. Only parting words I can think of. Y'all ain't getting a sequel, so just enjoy this film. Or enjoy this one. Yeah, you're watching on
That's a
Netflix.
wrap, huh?
Yeah, enjoy this first movie before Netflix, remove it and add something new. Because they sitting there just taking shit off, like it's swapping everything out. They ain't gonna be on. They'll probably be on there a couple more months.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
My parting words, man. Definitely tune in to the Manic Sophistication channel. We stay dropping, different content. So please tune in, subscribe, all that. But needle sticks are scary. I remember when Amazing got her needle stick. I was trying to convince her to like go into another section of the house, kind of like the movie The Bubble and stuff. Like, hey, go get checked out like 20 times. Don't breathe on nobody. So yeah, when she said that, I remember that like whole time. I was like,
Oh yeah.
I'm coming here like I gotta live to tell the story and stuff. So
that's the same thing during COVID when I walked in. What are you doing?
Oh yeah.
What are you doing walking in
Update
and
that
out?
life insurance policy.
mhm.
I said you had a mask. You was wearing a mask and you had a dust mask on.
Yeah,
Fucking around
barely
with dust
covering her nose and stuff. Like, hey, I got this. I'm like, what?
mask. Just the nose covering your
What
mouth.
protocols y'all got? But yeah. But all right, definitely tune in. Thanks again. See you next time. Peace.